Welcome back, Black women. Happy Friday. So, the question I want to ask you guys today is why are you still at a job that you know sucks? You know the job is draining you. You know the job, you know you hate it there. You feel stuck. Do you actually think this is the best you can do? Yeah. Last week, I talked with you guys about why it's harder to heal in a wrong environment. And the week before that, I talked to you guys about how you could actually be a different person in a different place. So this month, we're focusing entirely on intentionally creating your environment, as in being extremely intentional about the spaces and places where you do your life and not just defaulting, especially to places that harm you. So today I want to talk to you guys about something very specific. Why do Black women who feel stuck at jobs often not leave those jobs? That's what I want to talk about. All right. We're going to talk about why we stay when it's harming us. We know we don't want to be there anymore. We tired. They done stressed us out. We've outgrown it. Right, Kimani? And we stay anyway when we know we want to move. So if any of that stuff sounds like you, this video is for you. I talked about in the previous videos that your environment can make you feel lighter, it can make you feel clearer. Changing your environment can make you feel more like yourself. So in this video, I'm going to share with you why the opposite is actually also true. The environment can bog you down. The environment can actually make you freeze. The environment can cut off your thinking thinker of your brain. And I bought in the big guns, okay? So, first of all, let me introduce myself. Hello, everybody. My name is Rushni. If you're new here, I'm Glamazini. I'm a life coach. I'm also a content creator. I help Black women heal, amplify their gifts, and create lives that they love that love them back. Okay, if that sounds like you are in the right place. We are live on Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube. Hit the subscribe button and like the video if you are into Black women creating lives that they love. And I am joined by two of my favorite people to talk to. So it's going to be a great conversation today. We have the co founders of the Job Liberation Virtual Summit for Black Women, Marissa Price and Dr. Kimani Norrington-Sands. Marissa, can you introduce yourself?
Absolutely. Yes. Thank you for having me. I'm Marissa Price. I am a liberatory healer, the co founder of the Job Liberation Virtual Summit for Black Women. My YouTube channel is Marissa Price Heals, and I am focused on helping Black women reclaim our sovereignty, rebuild our self confidence after environments that are toxic have tried to destroy that, and coming back into our full light and brilliance. So, thank you for having me.
Thank you for being here, Dr. Kimani.
Yes, I love how you said that, Marissa. That was so soothing. Hello, everyone. My name is Dr. Kimani. I'm a licensed clinical psychologist, also a toxic job survivor, but I love to say that I'm a toxic job liberator for Black women. I am the co-founder with Marissa of the Job Liberation Virtual Summit for Black Women. My YouTube channel is Lifting as We Climb Consulting, where I come on every Sunday interviewing a different Black woman about her experiences in a toxic job and talking about her healing journey, pivoting out, and also sharing resources.
Wonderful. Thanks for being here, you guys. So, like I said, this month I have been specific about Black women healing by intentionally creating the environment that we exist in, right? Our homes, our jobs, our spaces, even our digital spaces, all of the containers that we do our life in. And of course, for many of us, one of the largest containers is our job, how we make our money. Um, and I find that Black women will often default to things that we are trained to do, right? So we end up there not because we intentionally wanted to be in a space, but because that's like what you do. And we get into these spaces and these spaces harm us, right? So today I want to talk about specifically why it is that we get into these spaces, some of these harmful job environments, and we feel stuck. And I want to talk about this because I remember being in a harmful job environment and feeling like I could not get out of it. Like this is absolutely the best that I could do, right? This is all there is. I just have to endure it. I got a lot of messages of endurance. I thought I was lazy. I thought I lacked discipline. And I have since learned that there are valid reasons why my environment can affect my nervous system and also conditioning and all of that. So, before I go into that, my first question is, have either of you ever felt stuck in your job and why?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I know Dr. Kimani and I talk about this a lot, but we are both the jobs that we had that were toxic were very mission based and mission aligned. So I think that was one of the huge things that like made me feel stuck because I was so committed to the mission. And I feel like this is the case for a lot of Black women. And so I was working on racial equity, right? That was a mission that I was tasked with. And so when I had the realization that this was becoming toxic, I was like, well, who's going to do the work of like advancing this mission that I'm like so tied to? And so it took me a while to begin to like separate my identity from that job, from that role, and to understand that I could still do that mission outside of that place that was harming me. I didn't have to be in the place that was harming me to do this mission. Like I'm still very much doing that today, but I'm not in a harmful environment. I'd also say one of the other things is like feeling that it's us, right? Feeling that there's something wrong with us. So going inward, trying to break ourselves apart, trying to silence different parts of ourselves, shrink to be within these toxic environments, and just recognizing that no, it is the environment that's toxic because we receive the message so often that we have to push through and that is what life is. It's
Mhm.
struggle, it's hardship, right? That's what we should expect. And healing from that, I've had to go so deep into my conditioning, my socialization, starting in girlhood. Like, where did I start to receive that message that this is what life should be? This is what I should expect. Why can't my life be joyful, easeful? Why do I have to harm myself in this environment? So it's really deep. It's generational messages that we receive, that this is just what it is and that we should expect to be harmed, to begin to like detach from that and to see yourself as worthy of an environment that feels healthy, that feels joyful, is really unlearning such deep oppression that we have
Mm.
encountered.
Dr. Kamani, you?
I absolutely agree with what everything Marissa was saying. And just the conditioning is really influenced by the experiences of Black people, I would just say, around the world, right? So in America, we think about our history of enslavement, and I reached for the book that I always refer to, post traumatic slave syndrome, but just in terms of the impact that slavery has had on us, and just the impact that enslavement and the centering of labor,
Mm.
and how we as Black people have centered labor. And so we have defined ourselves in terms of our work. And so when Marissa, you talked about, that we have been, that programming, the programming has not only been in terms of our gender, but also in terms of our race. So in terms of we need to constantly work. And so if we're not working hard as Black people, that label is, oh, we're being lazy, right? And so we as Black people, like if you say a Black person's lazy, it's like, what? I'm not lazy, right? So that ties into that post-traumatic slave syndrome. And then we start overworking, overworking, overworking. And so we have to recognize, where is this messaging coming from and who is it benefiting, right? It's benefiting white supremacy. We're not benefiting from it. So we have to recognize where all this stuff is coming from, and why are we identifying and over identifying to work and labor. So why is that the core of our identity? So that's the one thing. The other thing is, because of that, there's so much fear associated with leaving a job, because we recognize that we need income, right? So because of that, and because, like you said, Marissa, many times when we get jobs, we're so mission driven. We're thinking, I love this. Well, I'm so attached to what I can do with this job, and I believe in this work, right? So we're so mission driven that we kind of would just withstand all the other stuff because we're just so believe in the work, and so we'll just take it. We'll just I don't care what I got to go through, like that struggle love, right? It's like we become addicted to struggle love, right? So we become addicted to struggle love. And then we become, I don't know, like we start trauma bonding with people around us who are like, well, girl, all jobs are toxic. We got to just, we got to be here for the kids, girl. That's what we got to do. So then we start trauma bonding and it kind of normalizes what we go through. So now it's like this socialization that it's okay that we're in these situations. And then when we think about our parents and our grandparents, they may reinforce, yeah, you got to stay in these so-called good jobs. You got to stay in these jobs and stay put because that's what you need to do. So you have all these forces and all these levels that are reinforcing the socialization. And then you have the fear, on top of it of, okay, well, if I don't have this job, then how am I going to make money? Okay. And then you have the larger society around us telling us, well, if you don't have this job, then you're going to end up homeless if you don't have a job. So you have all these like variables going on around us. So that makes us fearful. That makes us fearful, right? And so we start saying things to ourselves to justify why we stay at toxic jobs. We will say things like, well, you know what? I'd rather stay with the devil I know than the devil I don't know. Or this job is not that bad. They pay me good, or I got good benefits. So we try to start justifying the kind of abuse or whatever we're withstanding because we don't see a way out.
You said so many good things in there, Dr. Kimani. And well, a few things I want to touch on. One, thank you for showing the book. I saw you speaking on Stephanie Perry's channel. You showed the post-traumatic slave syndrome book. And Stephanie always talks about things being fruit off the slavery tree. And as a Black woman, one of the harder things I've encountered on my healing journey is how much of our conditioning, our default basal conditioning that we don't even question, comes straight out of chattel slavery and valuing ourselves for the labor that we bring.
Mm-hmm.
And like
Mm-hmm.
Marissa said, extricating that thing from you and who you are almost can feel like you're ripping your mind asunder, and it's
Mm-hmm.
easier to stay in the matrix, if I'm being honest,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
The other thing that you talked about is so many different factors that come in. There's external conditioning
Mm-hmm.
of us as women in our
Mm-hmm.
right, as Black women, and then
Mm-hmm.
there's internal conditioning.
Mm-hmm.
And I found that in me, myself, Rushni, that showed up as a significant freeze response for me. And I know when I saw you talking to Stephanie, you were talking about the different stress responses. One of the things
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to make sure that we touched on in this video for any
Mm-hmm.
Black woman that might be coming to this page and being like, "This is the best I could get. I can't do anything. I feel like I'm stuck. Like, I know I'm being harmed." Like,
Mm-hmm.
both of you guys touched on, this is just how it is. Struggle is the way is my portion. I feel stuck. I would love for you, Dr. Kamani, to
Mm-hmm.
explain, like you're explaining it to like a third grader, what
Mm-hmm.
stress responses are, and
Mm-hmm.
specifically how a freeze response
Mm-hmm.
can show up when you are in a toxic environment, including a job.
Okay. Okay. So in our brains, we perceive situations and it has kept us safe, right? So when we have been out in the world, we're able to see a situation and say quickly, we're able to assess this is a dangerous situation. So when we assess or we see this is dangerous, our amygdala assesses, uh-oh, we're in danger, and we go into survival mode. So we go into fight, flight, freeze, or fawn. Fawn is I'm gonna do whatever it takes to make everything okay. I don't want to cause any problems. I'm just put my head down and hopefully nobody's gonna bother me. Okay. So what this might look like in the workplace is I'm just gonna stay in my lane and I'm not gonna cause any problems and hopefully nothing's gonna happen. Okay.
Isn't there a bit of buttering up and fond too?
It could be that too.
There's a
It
bit
could
of
be that
butt
too.
kissing. I mean,
It
not
could
to
be
be
that
mean,
too.
but there's a little bit of just
It could,
saying.
it could be that too, right? Hoping that all of that is going to keep you safe, but it's
Mhm.
not. It's not. Okay. So when you're constantly in this survival mode, the amygdala is taking over your brain. Okay. So it shuts down your prefrontal cortex. Your prefrontal cortex, that's where you plan, you organize, you judge. Okay. So if you're constantly in this state, you're always fawning. You're always in this freeze response. You're not utilizing your prefrontal cortex. So in the workplace, you're having a hard time advancing, doing higher level things because you're like staying small. You're just trying to like, how can I just do things so I don't cause attention to myself? That's how you are in the workplace. Okay. So that's how I try to make it as third grade as possible, right? You're just trying to stay small in the workplace and hoping that you stay invisible, right? But that's illogical. It's illogical. As a Black woman, you will never be invisible in the workplace. You just won't. But it's like a maladaptive coping strategy that you think that if I don't make any waves, then nothing will happen to me. Racism and sexism, it's still going to happen to you. It's still going to happen to you. So this is a way for you to think that you can kind of control the situation by staying small, but that's not really going to save you.
Yeah. And I think that so many of us, I see an enlightenment happening now with Black women where we're starting to understand this language more and more. But like Marissa pointed out, we can go internal and start blaming ourselves and saying, "What's
Mhm,
wrong with me?
mhm,
I'm procrastinating," and beating
mhm,
ourselves up. When sis, what might be happening to you is a valid fear response, a valid
mhm,
stress response to an environment that is harming you.
mhm,
And when you realize that your body is not betraying you or it's not a moral failing, you know what I mean? It's not something's wrong with you. You are having a valid response to real or perceived harm.
mhm,
Then the good news is there's something you can do about that, right? On the
mhm,
thumbnail of this video, I put, "Is this the best you can get?" And the reason why I put that is because I remember sitting in corporate jobs and being like, "This is it.
mhm,
Everybody tells me this is it." I mean,
mhm.
we've all talked about this. I was getting called into rooms and cursed out. I was just having overt and covert harm done to me on the regular. And I would come in every day and be like, "Well, I mean, the benefits, and I'm just gonna stay." Every once in a while the fight did pop out, but for the most part, I did freeze, shut off, and like Dr. Kamani pointed out, I tried to stay under the radar and just deal.
See,
But
that's
that
learned helplessness. That's learned helplessness. It's like a dog being beat down, beat down, beat down. Then you don't even try anymore. Like, what's the point? I'm just gonna get beat again. I'm just gonna just stay quiet. Yeah.
right.
Mhm.
Exactly. Were you saying something,
I
Marissa?
was going to say too, dissociation, which you talk about a lot, right? I think that's one of the reasons why I stayed too, because I went back into the trauma response that I had as a child, right? Of
Mm,
just like get through this bullying,
mhm,
this toxicity, and just kind of shut the parts of yourself off, right? Day
mhm,
after day. But that harms you, right? When you dissociate. And so a lot of my memories from that time, I'm still like not very clear on the
mhm,
specifics of what happened. And as I heal from that trauma, things are starting to come back to me. I'm like, oh, I didn't even remember that happened. Right. But our
mhm,
brains are going through so much to try to
mhm,
protect and preserve those
mhm.
parts of ourselves. But it's a deeply traumatic experience.
Yeah, and you know what? I'm so glad you said that too, Marissa, because that disassociation can impact us in becoming just disconnected from ourselves, just in general, right? So it's just like it's it's almost like I remember one time when I was at the old job, I heard this woman talk about leaving her soul when she would walk into work. She would leave her soul in the passenger seat of the car
My
Wow.
God.
as she would walk into the building of our job, right? And that resonated with me. I knew exactly what she was talking about,
Hmm.
right? And so it's that disconnect from yourself. But when
Yeah.
you think about that ongoing disconnect from yourself, that's not healthy. So you're talking about losing parts of your memory. But I think
Hmm.
about like with a lot of my therapy clients, when I ask them simple things, Like, okay, so what do you do for joy? What makes you happy? And it's like deer in the headlights, like literally. So we're sitting there. I said, so what do you do for fun? What makes you happy? What brings you joy? And they're looking at me, and I'm looking at them. And it's like, I don't know, total disconnection from themselves. And so I think that contributes to that disconnect, the disassociation. Yeah.
Yeah, so Pearl is in the comments. Sadly,
Hey, Pearl.
dissociation is unlimited to just the job. Absolutely. It shows up in all kinds of areas of our lives.
Yeah.
And I was told by my clinician that I dissociated. That was my coping mechanism of choice. And over the past, let's see, 6 years now, I have been working intentionally to stay in the present. And my gosh, I was in all sorts of harmful environments, hence why I was leaving. Okay. The
Mm,
other thing that you brought up, Dr. Kamani, that is so true is when you have practiced leaving your body and going somewhere else in your mind as a fear response, you are disconnected from yourself.
mhm,
That's why Dr. Kamani is asking you, what do you do for joy? Who are you? What brings you light? Girl, what's your favorite color? You don't even know because you have
mhm,
spent every single day practicing forcing yourself into harmful environments, like
mhm,
a job that you have to put your soul in the seat next to you. My God, on today.
mhm, mhm,
Every day,
mhm.
40 hours a week. If
Yep.
that woman is waking up every morning, anticipating going to the job, you know she's not okay. Dr. Kamani, you've talked about how Sunday you had the Sunday scaries.
Ooh,
She's
yeah.
in the morning, she's woken up already, she's anticipating having to detach from herself, but
Mhm,
she's not herself then. She
mhm,
goes to the job, she puts her soul in the seat. Was she herself before she went in there? Probably not, because she was anxious
mm-mm.
before she got in there. She
And
goes
you know,
into a space, she code
uh-huh.
switches, and she's an entirely different her.
Yes,
Or rinse, repeat.
yes,
Is that your
yes.
life? That's the question. You know what I mean? Like, think about that. It was
And the
heartbreaking when you said that.
exhaustion. Yeah, the exhaustion, the emotional physical and emotional exhaustion. And you know what's so interesting about when she said that? She said not only that she put her soul in the passenger seat. This is what was so telling. She said she put her soul in the passenger seat. She cracked the window in her car and she told her soul, "I'll see you at 5 p.m."
My God, on today.
Yes, yes. It was that deep. Yes.
So, continually trying to wedge yourself into environments that harm you can result in a level of self-abandonment where you become a participant in your own harm.
Mm,
And I don't mean that to judge her. I mean, listen, I understand. I sat
mhm,
outside of jobs and wept
mm,
and still did not think that I could leave.
mm,
My freeze response was I don't think I was fawning, Dr. Kamani, because
mhm,
I wasn't able to do the like "Nee, nee, nee" part. I wasn't able to, but I definitely was able to just totally blank out.
mhm,
And I
mhm,
remember even telling a coworker who had found a video of me online because obviously I'm here on the internet and I was a praise dancer, you know, whatever. So there were videos of me doing praise dance. And
mhm,
I am a very expressive dancer. I'm
mhm,
a very expressive human. And he
mhm,
did not know that because he was interacting with a shell of me at this job. And he
mm.
said to me once, and getting to know me, "Gosh, Rushni, I found this video of you dancing on the internet." And I was like, "Who the hell is that?" And I said to him, without even looking at him, Dr. Kamani, I'm talking about just totally glassed over while I was typing. I said, "That's me. You should ask yourself, who the hell is this?"
Ooh,
Could you imagine?
wow.
So I was also yeah, girl, I was also checked out. So I'm not
Wow.
judging her, but I'm just bringing to the forefront, Black woman, that is not the life you have to live. Marissa
Mm,
talked about how we normalize this, and we have a lot of amen corner people telling us that that's what they had to do too.
mhm.
My message in this video is, you can leave.
Even during this time.
Well,
Even this time, right? People might be
listen.
like, "Oh my God, you can't, you can't, you can't, can't, can't." And I'm like, listen, listen, listen. We're not just saying just up and leave and everything. We're talking about planning, exit planning, be strategic, be strategic. Okay.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The work that you guys do, and one of the reasons why I wanted to talk to you guys about this specifically is Marissa and Dr. Kimani have started a summit. They're on their 3rd year about liberating Black women from toxic job environments. Liberation does not necessarily mean quit your job today, although for some people it can. But what it means is finding a community of like minded women, Black women, I would highly recommend, who can help you figure out what your options are. You can exit plan. Marissa said in her when she was talking earlier that they were committed to the work. Often Black women don't realize we can continue the work. The work is not attached necessarily to a job that's harming you. You're looking at 3 women who are outside of harmful jobs and continuing their work. Like the same liberatory. I hear Dr. Kamani say all the time that she was Harriet Tubman in her job. I did not know Dr. Kamani in her job, but she's been Harriet Tubman out here on these internet streets. The work continues. So when you get yourself when you get yourself out of an environment that's harming you, and you realize that you actually can, and you ask for the support. That was what I was missing back in the day. I felt unsupported. I felt like this, I have to stay here. There literally is no way out. My freeze response was that strong. And that's not true. When you have somebody shine a light on, sis, that environment might be causing you to not be able to access the thinking thinker part of your brain, but there is a way out. If you ask for help, there are resources that can help you get out. Anybody want to say something about that?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
So here's a question. When you are working with Black women in whatever capacity, whether in as a coach, whether as a mental health professional, or whether with the summit, what are some of the patterns that you find women who come to the summit come to you with? Do you find a lot of women who are stuck in a freeze response? Do you find a lot of women who say, like, I can't do this? What are some of the patterns that a woman who comes to you to work with you is typically displaying?
Typically fear. So a lot of fear. I know we talk about this a lot. That's one of the reasons we have the privacy considerations in place. So no summit attendees will be on camera at all. Only speakers are on camera. And you also have the option to change your name within the summit platform to attend completely anonymously. But it is fear, like moving through, first of all, like the fear of what exists on the other side, right? And I just had an incredible conversation with one of our speakers, Jamila, and she talked about that, like having faith in the unseen, right?
Mm,
Because we're taught so often that it has to be tangible. We have to be able to put our hands on it. But when you get into, as you said, like a community where you're able to see so many of us, right, have been in toxic work environments and we've made exit plans and we're not in them anymore. And we're still able to generate income. That's a huge fear. Like, how am I going to be able to pay my bills if I decide to leave this toxic environment? Because we're taught that all workplaces are toxic, right? Which is not true. That's often to keep us in place in this toxic, traumatic environment that continues to harm us. So once you're able to see other options and you have that sense of safety within your nervous system because you're in a private environment with other Black women who are making exit plans, right? Determining what liberation looks like for them because it's individual for every single person. You're able to access the planning parts of your brain and you're able to feel that sense of, okay, this is possible for me too. I don't have to accept trauma and harm as my lot in life, right? So yeah, fear is one of the main things that we navigate with attendees and also my clients that I work with.
mhm. What about you, Dr. Kamani? What do you navigate with the women that you work with?
Yeah, I would say fear as well. And also the grief, the grief of, I cannot believe this happened to me. I can't believe I did everything right. I got the degrees, I got the credentials, I was a team player, I did everything right. And how could they do this to me? how could they do this to me? So really processing the grief along with the exit planning as well.
Mhm. Yeah. When your identity is intermingled with what you do, I can absolutely resonate with the grief because you take it as a moral failing,
Mhm,
when it doesn't turn out well. I think
mhm,
videos like ours, I think platforms like yours,
mhm,
help Black women realize how unfortunately uncommon this situation can be,
mhm,
and that it's not necessarily them. So, I guess my question would be, Marissa, can you talk to the idea of a Black woman who might be watching right now and thinks she has to change herself versus changing her environment, which is what I want to offer her?
Hmm. Yeah. So recognizing, so part of my healing, a huge part has been rebuilding my self worth, right? To really recognize that, oh, I am able to be in an environment where people aren't harming me. And
mhm,
a lot of this can stem from childhood trauma. So the
mhm,
roots run very deep. So to recognize that we're living within intersecting oppressive systems as Black women, right? So we're navigating racism, we're navigating sexism, and all these other identities that we might hold, right? At the same time. So there are systems working at place trying to keep you suppressed, trying to steal your light, trying to make you question your brilliance, right? And so just even recognizing that these are things that you're literally dealing with day in and day out. And so to recognize that you are brilliant, and that's often like why these things happen, because people see and recognize our brilliance and they don't want it to
mhm.
exist,
Mhm.
Right.
right? And so to guard those parts of yourself so fiercely
Mhm,
in environment, no matter what environment that you're in, and start like I always like say the question your environment before you
mhm,
question yourself,
mhm,
because we're so often taught to immediately question ourselves, like what did I do wrong? How can I like silence my voice a little bit more to like shrink and fit in this environment? What if you question your environment first, right? What environment am I in? Am I being supported? Am I being targeted? Are these people viewing me as less than human, honestly? And so all these questions, right, about your environment first before you go in to reflect if there's anything that you could have done, because we're all on our personal growth journey, but really like point the arrow outward first before you start interrogating pieces of yourself. I think it's helpful.
There are so many spaces where we are trained and conditioned to
mhm.
absorb blame for harm done to us.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Ooh.
And I would also say, like, really explore ways that our environment is impacting our individual functioning, right? So definitely pay attention to ways that our external, con- we're talking about a job, is impacting our physical well being and our mental well being. So, if our job is impacting our physical health, like our hypertension, Roshni, I know in the chat when I was talking to Stephanie, I was talking about these profuse nosebleeds I was having. I think April was talking about that too. I
Mhm.
never had nosebleeds. Never, right? April was talking about that. And I was like, oh my God, I had nosebleeds. You said you had nosebleeds? Never, right? But I was able to say, oh, it's the stress from the job, right? So we need to pay attention to these signs and what's contributing to that. So the physical part, the mental changes. So we need to look at any change in our baseline functioning and what's contributing to that. That is extremely important. The
Mhm.
other thing Marissa touched upon was we have to look at ways that a job might trigger other traumas we may have experienced in our earlier lives, right? Or early times in our lives, because they can do that. So a job can trigger unresolved trauma. It can trigger PTSD types of reactions. We need to be aware of that too. And then we also need to be aware of something. And I was thinking about, you saw Sinners, Roshni?
I still haven't. Oh,
Oh, you
no.
haven't seen
Kimani,
it?
why would you do that? The
I'm
Blacks are gonna be
sorry.
mad at me.
Sorry, sorry, sorry.
Meaning
Okay,
to, and I haven't.
sorry.
But it's
Okay,
okay. I don't care about spoilers, so if you wanna say a spoiler, I don't care because 'cause I'm not a person that doesn't need spoilers, but
okay,
don't
okay.
out me to the Black
I'm
people.
sorry. I'm sorry. was that? Well, I'll just refer to a quote. Okay. So when you see the quote, you're going to be like, oh, I remember this quote. Okay. So one of the quotes in the movie was, you dance with the devil long enough, watch out because the devil's going to follow you home, right? And so for me, the devil was a toxic job, right? And so one of the ways, no, not one of the ways, there are many ways that the devil still follows me home in terms of residue. So even after you leave a toxic job, there's still some residue that you got to deal with, right? So it's still like, like questioning yourself about different things or whatever. So even after you leave, there's still healing that happens after you leave a toxic job. So recognizing that the healing process continues, right? But the healing happens, starts happening after you leave. Because people keep asking me, well, can you tell me how to heal while I'm at the job? Because I got to stay at the job. And I'm like, girl, I'm sorry. I cannot tell you how to heal at the job because you are going to continue to be harmed. You're continue to be harmed. I can't tell you how to heal in that environment that's still harming you. I can tell you some short-term coping, but I can't tell you how to heal, right? So healing happens after you leave. But I see in the chat people are like, don't be sad, girl, because I haven't seen it either. So don't be sad.
I know. I see
Don't be.
Zerubbabel was trying to have my back. I didn't want to just throw that up on the screen. You know what I mean? But yeah, somebody has not seen it yet. Also, last week, Kimani, that's one of the things I talked about. I talked about, can you heal in a toxic environment? And I said, I was like, it's complicated. The answer is no, not really. But also,
No.
if you got to stay in the environment, this is what you do. I was like, listen, girl, I'm gonna need you to get out, but also do this, right? So yeah. So if you missed that, go back and watch that video. So you're correct in that the residue still hangs on to you. One of the things that I was thinking of when you were sharing that is, when a Black woman is in a job that is harming her, because we are taught that this is just how it is, we often don't even understand what harm looks like. So can you guys think of, and like, for example,
Mhm,
one of
mhm.
the obvious things is you don't want to be there. That's the end of the sentence. Black woman. Because we always need more. Like, lady, if you know you don't want to be there and you're doing all this mental gymnastics about putting your soul in the seat next to you, you need to leave that environment. Yeah. Another one I thought of is, you go into the meetings and you don't say not one word. You just, like, the freeze response. You just in the meetings, like, people stealing your ideas, they giving you 4 people's job, they
Mm,
berating you, they're ignoring you, and you get
mm.
up every single day, put on your little Ann Taylor outfit, and traipse your butt back up in there. Are there any other I'm just saying, come on, like, sometimes we gotta make it plain for the Black woman, because I know I did not understand, because what I saw was what I was modeled and trained to do and told to do was how to endure the hard spaces.
Yeah, yeah.
So
Or
I didn't
what
even
about going to the
realize,
bathroom? You get upset about something at work. You go in the bathroom and start crying,
my
or in the
God.
bathroom stall, and you come out and you pat your face down, get your face back together, and go right back out.
And Kamani's one about the Sunday scaries. If
Mhm,
every Sunday your entire nervous system goes awry, what was that
mhm.
like, Kamani? On Sundays, what would you
Oh,
feel? Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to bring you back to it, but, like, what
woo,
would you
girl.
feel?
It was horrible. So, Sunday early day, it was pretty good, right? 'Cause I'm like, still weekend, right? Then I'm like, okay, well, it's still pretty good because it's not 5 o'clock yet. 5 o'clock rolls around. I'm like, oh no. It was like the whole, like everything in my house felt like it just turned dark. I felt like a dark, like cloud just came over my whole house. And it's like, I don't know if it was Charlie Brown. What was that cartoon character? It was like raining, there's like a cloud over there. It just started raining. It was like
Yeah.
that. It felt like everywhere I went, it was like this rain cloud was just raining over on me. And there's nothing I could do to make it feel better, right?
Mhm.
And it just was just dread. I was just like, oh my God, I got to go back there. There's nothing I could do from 5 p.m. on. I was just disgusted, disgusted. So I would go to bed and I was just feeling like sad. And then that alarm clock would go off on Monday morning. I would just be sick. just sick. Like, oh
You
my
know what I
God, I
just
gotta go back
realized,
to this
Kimani?
again.
You
Ugh.
are going by a labor clock even on Sunday. Why does 5 o'clock have anything to do with it? You
I
see
know,
that?
right?
You had
Yeah,
a girl
yeah,
fruit off
yeah,
the slavery tree.
yes, exactly,
Your brain was like,
exactly.
5 o'clock hits and my
Yep,
time is done.
yep,
Now it's there. Now I'm
yep.
anticipating their time. Girl, fruit off the slavery
True
tree.
enough, true
Oh
enough.
my goodness.
Yeah,
Prill says
yeah.
crying on the way to work, crying on your
Mm,
break, crying
mm.
on the way home,
Oh,
'cause crying is 'cause I'm be crying.
woo,
Prill was crying, okay?
crying. Yes.
Prill was weeping. What about just being fully exhausted all the time, Black woman? You know,
Mhm.
there can be joy, there can be light, there can be rest. Like Kamani said, you are having nosebleeds, you are having heart palpitations,
My
you
weight,
are
I
having
started gaining a whole bunch of weight because I was doing like comfort eating. You know what
mm.
I'm saying? So I was like stressed out. So I was like, oh, I need to eat this to make myself feel better. And so I started gaining a lot of weight. And just so many things happening, right? Yeah.
Yes. So, Marissa, can you think of any other ways that a Black woman who is used to the struggle might overlook and think this is normal? But it's not. It doesn't have to be.
Mm. Insomnia
Mm.
is a huge one, right? When we ruminate.
Mhm.
Oh, was she frozen? Oh no, I think she's frozen.
Oh, I do. I think you froze, Marissa. We'll wait for her to come back. I was
Yeah.
thinking about digestive stuff. I know that I would have like, my stomach would be
Oh, okay, she's
twirling.
back.
There
She's
she
back. She's
is.
back.
And I know other people have also said, not just insomnia, but like, what do you call it? Constipation.
Yeah.
People will say that. Your body is
Mm.
responding. And you did freeze,
Mhm.
Marissa. So go back to you said
Yeah.
insomnia and then you froze.
Yeah, rumination. Rumination. So
Mhm.
if you find yourself trying to make sense of what happened, like please free
Mhm.
yourself from that because
I
oppression
Mhm.
doesn't make sense. And
well,
I feel like a lot of the times we try to like that meme is coming up where we try to like do the equation, like, okay, if I did this and this, like, then it makes sense. And then I can try to
Mm-mm.
like beat myself to get a different
Mm-mm.
result. But it's
Mm-mm.
truly racism and sexism, right? And the other
Mhm.
intersecting systems that are creating these conditions. So if you
Mhm.
can free yourself from trying to make sense of what is happening to you and just
Mhm.
realize that you're being harmed, right?
Mhm.
And that's enough. I think
Mhm.
that's we lose Rushni?
I think so. Oh my
Yeah.
God. So we lost you at first. You were frozen, and then we lost Roshni. Oh my God. But you know what? She's gonna come back. But you know what? When
Yes.
you said insomnia, I was like, oh my, and you said rumination. I was thinking
Uh-huh.
about I used to do the same thing. I used to play back. I first of all, I used to play back what happened at the job, and I used to
Me too.
play back like what I wish I could have said to certain
Yep.
people. Like, how dare they say that to me? Girl, we were like, girl, where
I
are
don't
you?
know what just happened. It's like the screen y'all, the internet gremlins. So, I was
It's too
sitting here,
powerful.
I've never had this happen. It went to a different StreamYard screen, and I could still hear Marissa talking, and I was
That's
like, "What
weird.
just happened?" So then I grabbed the mouse, and I'm like, "How do I get back to her?" And I'm looking at the tabs, and I'm clicking the tabs, and none of the tabs she's still talking, and I'm like, "Okay." And then I clicked something, and I was gone, and I was like, "I literally don't know what just happened, but continue. Okay, we're back.
Wow.
We're back. We did it."
No, just
Yes.
that rumination of like replaying what
Mhm.
happened, and I wish I could have told somebody something, and how dare them, and then like being upset with myself that
Mhm.
how dare I let them say that to me, and da 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 da, and just going back and forth. Just oh my gosh.
That's what I mean about being trained to absorb the blame for harm done to us. And I
Yes.
love that you brought up the rumination and the fact that oppression and harm doesn't make sense because
Yeah.
that also is a stress response that I absolutely lived in, which is I thought
Mhm.
that if I could figure this thing out, I could fix it.
Mhm.
Mhm. Yep. Mhm.
Listen, you can waste a lot of time,
Yep.
Yeah.
job and otherwise, amen, trying to figure out something that is not something that's I know Marie Forleo says everything is figure outable. This is not.
Mm-hmm.
Girl, you will figure it out. You will have all the vocabulary to explain it, and you will waste years of your life just being able to say why they're harming you. But guess what? You're still being harmed. Sometimes the answer is to have your exit plan, get into community with Black women who can model and or support you, and get up out. That's sometimes the answer, and that's the answer that I had to learn over years because I absolutely was like, "I can figure this out. I can figure
Mhm.
this out." Like you said, the meme with the strings. I can
Mm-hmm.
figure this out, and when I
Yep.
figure it out, we'll do better. We'll be better. Here in this like, we can have, I will be able to show up in the capacity that I thought I was showing up in this work environment, and they're like, "No, we're just trying to extract your labor from you."
Mm-hmm.
Well, I think
That's
the
it.
problem is that we think that we can figure out something that's logical, but it's not logical what we're dealing with a lot of times. We're dealing with, as my dear friend Colette Elizabeth, we're dealing with people who are deeply insecure, incompetent, and immature.
My
So we're
God.
dealing with illogical people, okay?
Mhm.
And people who are so dishonest, morally bankrupt people. So they're not going to tell you the truth. So the more we're trying to get these meetings, trying to get clarity, and okay, so you said that, and I said that, and I just want to just get clarity so that next time that happens, wasting our time because they will sit there and lie in our face, and then we're like, wait a minute, but then they said that. That is such a waste of time. It's such a waste of time because they're liars, right?
Soul
And I
Sister
just think
says
about
it right here. She
what
says, "I think you guys just freed me. Oppression doesn't make sense.
it
I'm literally
doesn't.
ruminating about my job right now."
Yes, yes. I used to listen to Jill Scott's song. I can't remember what the song was, but every day on my way to work, because I had some playlist that would help me get to go to work. But one of the lyrics she said was getting ready to stare monsters in their face. And that's what I was
Mm.
doing. I was getting ready to stare monsters in their face. And I would have to listen to that every morning to get ready to stare monsters in their face because these are liars. They're liars. And so when we recognize that, we need to stop spending so much time and energy on people who are not going to tell you the truth. They're not going to tell you the truth.
Mm-hmm.
Let's use our energy on something else like exit planning.
You
Mm-hmm.
talked about grief, Dr. Kamani, and I
Mm-hmm.
know Black women, we are one of the most I think we are the most educated group,
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
we tend to have a heart as a
Mm-hmm.
collective that we don't
Mm-hmm.
always find in other collectives, let's put it that
Right.
way, right?
Right.
So
Right.
the
Right.
idea
Right.
that everyone is operating like we are, everyone is truth tellers, everyone is mission driven, everyone is collaborative, my God, on today, that it'll break your heart when you jump into these environments, you have your 4 degrees and your certifications, and you're ready to do the work to make the impact, and you think this is the only place you can do it. Spoiler, it's not. Come to the summit, and you're gonna have a lot of information about ways that you can still make your impact, Black woman. All 3 of us on this screen are still making our impact not in that way. We had to
True.
unlearn the system, okay?
Mm-hmm.
You get in there, and you're just like, "We're all on the same sorry, not the laugh, but we're all on the same page." Well, and they're not.
Mm-hmm.
Like Dr. Kamani says, nothing is more heartbreaking than spending years of your life preparing yourself for something that you think is going to give you a runway to make the impact that you think. And then you get into the space and you realize they're trying to extract from you, Black women.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You are not the same in their minds.
Mm-mm.
They are in a competition. And how dare you be better than them?
Mm-hmm.
How dare you? It's
Mm-hmm.
over. Come to the
Mm-hmm.
summit, and they actually, Dr. Kamani, talk about the researchers that talk about pet to threat because they're gonna
Okay.
be there this year, right?
Absolutely. Yes. We're going to have all 3 Black women researchers. So, Pets a Threat, created by 3 Black women researchers, Dr. Juanita Johnson Bailey, Dr. Keisha Thomas, Dr. Rosemary Phelps. Pets a Threat is when you are in the workplace and you are sought out for your outstanding work abilities. You are just like, oh my God, Rashni, you're so smart. I love you. Oh my God, you're saving the organization, Marissa. We couldn't do anything without you. And so you're the pet, right? So then you start outshining other people within the workplace, and there's a shift in terms of how you're seen and treated, then you're the threat. So they do whatever they can to try to push you out. And so many of us have experienced pet the threat, but we haven't had the word for it. So I know I've experienced pet the threat, And it could be confusing because you're like, wait a minute, I'm doing all this great work. I have contributed. I've done these great things. I'm getting these wonderful, sorry, my dogs are going crazy. I've gotten these wonderful evaluations. Like what's going on here? But they're trying to get you out because now you bruise their ego, right? And so we are going to have all 3 Black women researchers of Pet to Threat at the summit. So for the first day of the summit, that Friday evening, for a fireside chat. And then we're also going to have a sound bowl healing that Friday evening as well. So super excited about that.
All right. First, I was like, what is this noise happening? Listen, I was like, is somebody playing the drums? What is
Girl, I got 3 dogs over here going crazy. Okay? Going crazy. Living their best life. You talking about joy. They're like joy just unleashed over here. Okay?
Okay. I'm back to Soul Sisters comment again because I want to say this. Oppression is pushing down, right? Depression is pushing down. Expression is unleashing, pushing up. When you come into an environment that wants to extract from you, they're going to love on you. Okay. I think Marissa and I were talking about this one day about how it's real, like Pet to Threat is real love bombing in relation. If you ever heard about love bombing in relationships, and they're loving on you because their intention is not to, they are there to extract from you. Okay.
Yes.
That's what I'm saying, Black women. The environment might be the issue. So confusion about how you went from their pet to the threat might be explained by the intention that you came in under. And what am I going to say here? Black women, we excel to the point that it's almost inevitable. 3 of us are sitting on this call, and all 3 of us have experienced pet to threat. How is that possible? Is it because we are the effing bomb? And we come into these environments and we outshine everyone. You see what I'm saying, Kimani? And the whole point is almost like Ursula taking somebody's voice. They're trying to get something from you. So don't fret yourself, soul sister, anybody else watching this, thinking like, what's wrong with me? I thought I was doing a good job. I got a stellar performance review. I had all of that, Kimani. Okay. I was getting national award, the whole thing. And then all of a sudden it was the whole thing. There was
It doesn't make sense.
it makes no sense because
right?
it won't make sense because the environment is not created for you to shine and expand.
Exactly.
The environment is created to extract from you and go about their business.
Exactly. And put you in your place.
Put you in your place. And let me tell you what, your place is not above them.
Absolutely not.
And it's sad. But once you realize that and you pick yourself up and think, okay, well, what do I do now? The answer is find the shortcut. I know, Kimani, you always talk about that. And you always quote me on things, and I always quote you on this one. Sis, you don't have to reinvent the wheel. You don't. You have to find the shortcut. And let me tell you who has shortcuts for you. There are a lot of Black women out here doing work to show that, like Stephanie Perry always says, another world is possible, right? There is another way for you to make your impact, the same mission-driven, heart-driven, community-driven impact that you were hoping to make in the confines of this oppressive labor space. You can still make that. And somebody can give you the support that you need to remove yourself from any environment that's harming you. You're not stuck. I needed somebody to say that to me. You are not stuck, girl. You are not stuck. I don't care how stuck you feel. I don't care if your heart's, I don't care if your body's whatever. These are things that you can learn how to get support for and move yourself out of these spaces.
And can I ask you, Roshni, because you are just the epitome of person to speak on this, because I always quote you on this. So why is it important about the people around us when we think about the environment that we're in? Why is it important that we're mindful of the circle that's around us in terms of being mindful of our environment, but also the circle around us when we're evaluating our environment? Right? The tree, check the tree.
Yeah, I know you want me to say check the tree before you pick the fruit.
Yes. And
And
why is that important when we think about the environments that we're in and the circles that we keep?
I just did a reel the other day that was talking about how we are the average of the 5 people we spend the most time with, right?
Mhm.
When you said that you have the researchers coming for, who came up with Pet to Threat, I
Mhm.
was excited because I'm a research girly, and Kimani has gassed up these women so much that I feel like I'm going to a Beyoncé concert, okay? That listen, I'm a nerd. She was like, "I have a boyfriend." I was like, "I got that's listen, you wanna make a nerd's heart happy? You tell her you got the 3 researchers, Black women, I'm sat. I'm sat, okay? There's also research that shows that you are, for all intents and purposes, highly affected by the 5 people that you spend the most time with. Not just the 5 people you spend the most time with, but the 5 people those people spend the most time with, and the
Mm.
5 people those 5 people's 5 people. So it's 3 levels out they've done research, meaning if you are surrounded by smokers, you're more likely to smoke. If you're surrounded
Mhm.
by people who stay in toxic environments, you're more likely to stay in if you're low earners, you're more likely to stay in low earners, right?
Mhm.
Environments contribute to how you show up in your world.
Mhm.
Create your environment, create your life. It's not the only thing, but it's absolutely one of the things. The reason I brought it up in my video that I made the other day, Kamani, was because I realized that one of the reasons I had stayed in so many safe, safe but harmful, which is wild to say. You know what I mean? The safer
Mhm.
choice, the
Mhm.
more socially acceptable choice, right? Environment was because I had surrounded myself with people who were doing that,
Mhm.
right? And so when I say check the tree before you pick the fruit, that's exactly what I mean. I mean, if you are taking insights, overt or covert, as in if somebody is actually saying it to you, somebody's giving you advice, somebody's counseling you, and or you are choosing to spend a lot of time around somebody, do you want what they have?
Mhm.
And often we don't do that. We will take insight from our mama. Mama ain't made no life for herself. We will take insights from our friend been in a job she hate for 25 years. She putting her soul in the passenger seat and we listening to her advice. Now we commiserating. I'm just saying, like, we are participating in our own harm at this point. There are people out here, and I was not aware of this. This is why I came up with that. That's why my symbol is a pineapple and all of that, because it's fruit, right? I did not know that there was something outside of the commiseration circle because I never experienced a world outside of the commiseration circle. We were all
Mm.
traumatized and we were all trauma bonding and we were all
Mm.
complaining together.
Wow.
Which is why
Ooh.
I was like, check the tree before you pick the fruit, because somewhere in my late 30s, I was like, wait a minute, why am I taking advice from this person and that
Mm.
person? They hate their job. They hate
Mm.
their man. They hate their city. They don't like their body. They eat bad food. Why am I listening to them? And it was because of just default programming. It
Mm.
was just default. This is just how it is. You
Mhm.
know, everybody in this space gets hypertension. You know, you can't wear your natural hair. All the messages, you can't natural hair is ugly. Girl,
Mm.
every job sucks. Every man gonna cheat. You know, like all of this horribleness. And I was like, wait a minute. Hmm. So if I want something different, I have to find different voices telling me
Mhm.
a different message. And then I
Mhm.
went on this search, which is why I can say like flat-footed that if you want to get out of a toxic work environment, you cannot stay around whoever was around you telling you how to stay in that toxic work environment.
So
I
true.
did it.
So
I
true.
stayed. You got to
So
find other
true.
people. You got to hear
Mhm.
other voices. You got to see
Mhm.
people who've done it. That woman either left that job, started her own business, she left that job, went to a different job. There
Mhm.
are jobs that
Mhm.
people like. I had a
Mhm.
part-time job for 4.5 years, loved it.
Hmm.
Now they laid me off. I didn't like that part, but I
Mm.
was having a good time in there, and it did something for my nervous system because it was one of the first times that I was like, "I actually like it here."
Mm.
You can like a job? I thought I had to seriously, I thought I had to endure. I thought
Mm.
everybody's miserable.
Mm.
Everybody's like Prill said earlier, crying, crying. I was boohooing with Prill, just
Mm.
crying. And I
Mhm.
just thought that that's what it was. So one of the things that I always and one of the reasons why I wanted to talk about environment this month specifically
Mhm.
is we will, like Marissa says, blame ourselves.
Yeah.
Black women, we fix. We get on task. We go very
Mhm.
intellectual. We live from the neck up,
Mhm.
right? A lot
Mhm.
of us are taught to ignore our physical sensations for reasons,
Mhm.
right? And we
Mhm.
go intellectual. So
Mhm.
as soon as we see a problem, boop, 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 boop,
Mhm.
how do we fix it? We're up here with it. And
Mhm.
we are in these toxic environments trying to, girl, just you trying to clean up, you trying to sail this ship. People in the back blowing holes in the ship. Girl, get off the
Right.
boat.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? And I just wanted to share, like, girl, it might not just be it might not be you. It might not be that you didn't try hard enough.
Right.
It might not be that you're not good at this. You might
Mhm.
actually be too good at this. Too good.
Think about that. Think about
That's the
that.
threat.
Think
You
about
making
that.
somebody feel real bad
Think about
about what
that.
they doing.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Oh, I'm sorry. I gotta say three things when you
Go
said
ahead.
that. Okay, three things. One is um, the importance of there might be people around you that you can't get away from, right? So if they're asking you about your job, but you find that they keep projecting their fears onto you, just maintain boundaries with them. So if they keep asking about your job, just say, I'm working it out. I'm maintaining just boundaries. Okay, you don't have to go into deep anything, whatever. Just boundaries. The other thing is, I was thinking as you were talking about something that Natasha Williams has been doing some research she's doing in the UK about imposed syndrome as opposed to imposter syndrome. So she's
Mhm.
been talking about for Black people, it's less of an issue of imposter syndrome because imposter syndrome is these doubts you have, and I'm going to be caught or revealed that I don't really have what it takes. But as Black people, often when we go into the workplace, we're often confident that we have the abilities because we have to be twice as good and all that kind of stuff, right? But when we go into the workplace, people are always second guessing us and all that kind of stuff. So then we might start doubting ourselves because people are second guessing us so much. So that's more of an imposed syndrome. So I think many of us are experiencing that, but we don't know, we didn't know what to call it, right? And so, in terms of our experiences, I think it's important for us to, just be able to name, what we're experiencing and to recognize that what we're experiencing may be very different because when we talk about we may be too good, is that, and I think about Alicia Bernice because she did some really good videos about this a while back. She talked about in the workplace, when we talk about imposter syndrome, these people who we outshine, those are the true imposters because they're scared that we're going to reveal that they're the true imposters, that they are incompetent. And so they will do whatever that they can to try to put us in our place because they don't want people to find out that they don't have what it takes. So they will do whatever they can. Like they'll try to extract our labor, they'll try to put us in our place because they don't want to be found out that they're the true imposters. And when we show our brilliance, that makes them feel really bad, right? So that's another reminder to them that they're not up to par, right? So just think of them like they're the true imposters. So when people keep saying imposter syndrome, you're struggling with imposter syndrome, I ask us as Black women to really interrogate that and don't just automatically say, oh, I'm struggling with imposter syndrome. Really, really interrogate that.
I've never heard of that before. Thank you, because you really just brought a few times to mind in my corporate work life that I was second guessed. Hmm, hmm. All right. Well, what would you say to a Black woman watching this? She's in a job she hates, and she actually thinks that this is the best that she can get. She's realizing now um, that she was stuck, but something about what we're talking about is making her realize that maybe it's not her.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe
Mm-hmm.
she should try to do something differently. And then can you, I'll say, Marissa, can you share maybe how the summit could help her?
Yeah. So I would say there are so many options for you that exist. One of the things that living in society does as Black women tries to limit our options for us and tell us that we just get 1 through 5, where everyone else gets 1 through 100. And the summit really like shows, right? There are options for us to take. Contract work, I see Celeste in the chat. Contract work, Mercedes is going to do a session on deciding between entrepreneurship and a career pivot. We have Charnay Horton from Resume Addict coming in if you need help revising your resume, if that's a fear of yours or like a block to progress. So many different sessions, right, to take advantage of, to see that there is a pathway for you and you don't have to just stay in an environment that's harming you. Even if it does require like planning, right, strategizing. That's the point of being in a safe, confidential environment for you to activate your prefrontal cortex that allows you to access these parts of our brains that sometimes we have to shut off to just get through day to day in these toxic environments. You're going to be in a safe, supportive environment where you are able to make your plan and to see, right, and hearing from our personal experiences that so many of us, right, as speakers have been in this exact situation where we have felt stuck. And then we've gotten into community, we've made our strategy, right? It's almost like a plan that you can follow, a blueprint that we'll be providing you with so that you can see that there is a way out for you too, right? It's not just us or something special about us, but we followed a blueprint, got into supportive community, and then saw that these options were in fact for us too when society had tried to limit them for us. So yeah, I would say you're absolutely not stuck, and come and be supported and held in a safe, confidential space at the summit coming up May 1st through the 3rd.
What about you, Dr. Kimani? I know that okay, so I realized that when I got bumped out, our little video got bumped out too, and I thought about it.
No.
It did. I got bumped. I looked down, I was like, "Where did it go?" And I was like, "Oh, technical
I have it.
difficulties." I know. I can still pull it up, you guys.
We have a special surprise for
Wait,
you.
wait. Kimani, it is not imposter syndrome. It is imposed syndrome.
It's imposed syndrome.
Reshni's
Yes.
having imposter syndrome right now. But I was going to say that when I was creating it, I was looking at all of the topics. And if you are a Black woman and a fear has gone through your mind, what am I going to do about retirement? What about my insurance? How am I going to, what if I, there's probably a talk at the summit.
Yeah.
I think you guys did an amazing job on your 3rd year. This is their 3rd year curating the Job Liberation Summit for Black women in answering the fears, especially in this job market where Black women, and I just saw an article where it's Black people, but Black women especially, are being dropped from jobs left, right, and center. There are still options for you, even in this environment. That's what I want.
Yep. Absolutely. And yeah, so I want to mention that we were also featured at MSN recently.
I have that link, you guys. I put that in the, yeah, I do.
Okay, awesome. And I was going to share some restaurant, I totally forgot, but it'll come back to me later.
All right. So I'm going to go and let me see.
Oh, that's what I was going to say. So the summit, it's a really good opportunity for you, again, to come up with an exit plan, a pivot plan, and create multiple streams of income. In addition to that, therapy is very powerful for you because leaving a toxic job or you've been laid off, it can bring up a lot of different feelings, a lot. Okay. And so therapy can be very healing for you. So I just wanted to also mention that.
Wonderful. Okay, I am not going to be an imposter. I am going to go pull up the stuff. I know. We were just talking about this before.
So you're going to cue it up, Rashi? You're going to cue it up? You're going to...
I am. I'm going to go pull it. It should be right here since I did it last time. All right, you ready? It might just start auto playing.
Okay.
Do you want to give an intro as to what we're looking at?
No, you're going to give the intro.
No, I'm not.
This is the premiere.
Okay.
Official premiere of the summit trailer for 2026. Our 3rd summit with clips from, created by Reshni Cope, aka Glamazini. showing clips of our speakers from 2025 to give you a feel of what to expect this year with the session titles and speakers that we have coming up for 2026.
All right, let's go.
Aren't they? Girl, these jobs are playing in our faces, aren't they? And now with this new administration,
Toxic jobs don't just ignore your brilliance, they make you question whether it was ever really real.
How does stress show up for you physically? Brain fog, headache, feeling on edge.
Thinking about who you were before the workplace, maybe you were bold, soft, curious, creative.
Leaving a toxic job is not just about emotion. You need to be strategic about it.
You get to tell your own story. You get to start all over if you want to. Toddlers don't know limitation. Allow your inner child to play and create the world that this world told you was unimportant.
to shift the way in which you think about how money is earned and moving from scarcity to abundance mindset.
I make money easily and effortlessly.
So again, we're open and signs are revealed to us. We need to pay attention to that and be courageous enough to follow up with that.
Make sure you read your company policy.
Where can we get $1,500 a month? If it's bringing in over $1,500 a month, then we are financially free.
My freedom is in the desire, and my freedom is in the action. If you are waiting for someone to give you something that they benefit from keeping from you, is not going to happen.
Can you view yourself as accomplished without a job that says you're accomplished?
But if you are talking about liberating yourself, you're going to have to be number one. You're going to have to be not selfish, but self-full. You're going to have to get familiar with the idea that you will no longer tolerate toxicity in any shape or any form in your life.
Looks like this summit is about jobs and work and money, but this summit is about your dreams. This summit is about your life, a life beyond your wildest dreams.
The 2026 third annual Job Liberation Virtual Summit for Black Women happening online May 1st through the 3rd. Registration is open.
And Black women, we do not panic, we pivot.
Oh, I love being a Black woman. If I gotta come through this experience again, please, Lord above, make me a Black woman. I don't want to be anything but.
Excellent. Fire.
So,
Beautiful.
yes,
Thank you.
you did your thing, girl.
Listen, let me tell y'all something.
You did your thing.
Okay, listen, I'm gonna just give y'all this real quick, and this should be inspiring to somebody. I am such a weirdo when it comes to intersection of gifts. There are certain things that I could care less about, and I'd just be doing, like coming live on the internet, chatting with my ladies. I love it. For some reason, the video editing, I was like, oh no, they can see it. Which makes no sense. But you know what, you guys? Imposter syndrome. I learned something today, not imposter syndrome.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. You have Prill body rolling. So
Body
So ladies, thank you so much for coming. Ladies that watch live on the replay as well, it has been a joy. The Job Liberation Summit, virtual summit for Black women, is happening May 1st through the 3rd. The link is in the information box. You can also find Dr. Kimani and Marissa's YouTube pages in the information box. Grab your ticket. As you saw, you can go back and rewatch, and you can see all of the amazing Black women who are coming to help us understand how to get out of an environment that might be harming you. You're not stuck. There is information available. And oh, you know what I want you guys to cover real quick?
Mm-hmm.
This says I'm an artist.
That's funny. That's right.
Before we go, can you tell people about the different levels of tickets? Because I want to make sure that they understand what each is and what's available when they go out there.
Yes, so the standard pass will give you access to all the live summit sessions plus a week of replays expiring May 10th. So you have a full week of replays. And then the premium pass gives you access to replays for a full year. So if you're someone who needs more time to sort through the information, we're gonna have 28 speakers. So it's gonna be a lot of information. So if you know you're someone who likes to take your time, making your strategy, kind of combing through the different sessions, that may be the pass for you. And you'll also receive access to 3 bonus financial liberation workshops on Zoom with the premium pass. And then this year, we're offering the Liberation Accountability Circle. So we have 15 spots left. But this is if you want personalized coaching from Dr. Kimani and I over the next year. So 6 accountability sessions, a private chat to help you really implement your strategy, the plan, the information that you soak up at the summit. If you're someone who needs that support throughout the next year, that may be something to consider. And yeah, there's 15 spots left, so that's the highest ticket tier.
Wonderful.
Can
Go
you
ahead.
mention about? I'm sorry. Can you mention about the payment options?
So we're offering, so we have PayPal added this year. So if you click on PayPal on the checkout page, there are additional payment options like split pay and stuff like that. So that's new this year as well.
And as a woman who has attended the summit every year, and I was actually a speaker last year, but this year your girl's not speaking because your girl's gonna be turning 50 and she needs to be resting. Okay. Um, but I highly recommend you go premium pass and up, you guys. I'm not saying don't go standard. If standard is where you are, go for it. And also a year to digest, pro tip, watch as much as you can live, participate in the chat because the chat's where it's at. I'm gonna be in the chat cutting up as usual, you guys. So just watch out for that. And then what I do is I put a task in my phone and I rewatch the summit things throughout the year. And I actually take notes and try to implement things from the actual speakers. Because one of the ways that you're going to change your environment, you're going to change your life, you're going to actually get about that raggedy job is not just to come and get a quiver in your liver and crack up at Rushni clowning in the comments, which I'm also going to be in the comments clowning. But I actually want you guys to do it. So, I do know, and correct me if I'm wrong, if you do get the standard pass for the summit, they can upgrade later on. Yeah. So if you change your mind, I highly recommend premium pass, you guys, because it is such a restful and more peaceful way to actually implement all of the good information that you're about to get from these ladies. All right, let me see. The Rubabel says, I attended the summit in its inaugural year and it was fire. I'll be sharing this information with those.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so
All right, you
much.
guys. Well, thank you so much for joining me once again. And leave that job, lady.
With a plan, sis.
With a plan. Consider that it might not be you. Hopefully, we've given you enough information today to at least bring to the top of your mind that instead of beating yourself up this week and thinking, oh no, what am I doing wrong? You might just not be in an environment that is serving you and supporting you. And that could shift, right? Thanks for watching. Be well, be encouraged, you guys. Here's a pineapple. Bye, y'all.
Bye.
Bye.